John sat in a dimly lit coffee shop, his fingers drumming against the table. He had just received an assignment. An international business deal required him to learn Portuguese in under a week. It wasn't the first time he had to learn something quickly, but this time, failure wasn't an option. His mentor, an ex-CIA operative named Marcus, had always told him, "Spies don't have time for slow learning. We hack the process." Marcus had taught him that 80% of a language is made up of 20% of the most commonly used words and phrases. Instead of getting lost in grammar books, John focused on learning the 1,000 most common Portuguese words and essential phrases for his mission. Bom dia. Quanto custa? Onde fica o aeroporto? He whispered to himself, visualizing real-life situations where he'd use them. Spies don't waste time on random vocabulary lists. They immerse themselves in real-world material. John pulled up YouTube videos of Brazilian news channels and put on a podcast about business in Portuguese. Even though he didn't understand much at first, his brain started picking up patterns and pronunciation. He also changed his phone language to Portuguese. Every time he unlocked it, he was forced to read in Portuguese. A subtle but effective trick Marcus had drilled into him. John put on his Bluetooth earpiece, plugged into a native Portuguese conversation, and mimicked every word seconds after he heard it. This was the shadowing technique, a method spies used to quickly sound like natives. The first few minutes were awkward. His tongue tripped over words, but soon his mouth adjusted, forcing his brain to keep up. Rather than memorizing random words, John used chunking, learning words in meaningful groups. Instead of memorizing car, fast, and drive separately, he learned them together. O carro é rápido. The car is fast. For harder words, he made up spy-style mnemonics. The Portuguese word lembrar, to remember, made him think of a Lamborghini. Because a Lamborghini is unforgettable, Marcus always said, "You don't really learn until you have to perform under pressure." John found a Brazilian cafe nearby 23. He walked in and ordered in Portuguese 20. It wasn't perfect, but the barista smiled and answered back. Real-world feedback was the fastest teacher. Later, he used a language exchange app to video call a native speaker. Forcing himself into live conversations made his brain work 10 times faster than passive learning. By the end of the week, John wasn't fluent, but he could hold conversations, negotiate prices, and understand 60 to 70% of a business meeting in Portuguese. He had learned like a CIA spy, fast, efficiently, and under pressure. As Marcus always said, speed learning isn't about intelligence. It's about using the right system.